Hello everyone, I'm hoping everyone is having a good day so far. My name is Chris and today we are starting off a brand new series where I will try out a brand new killer and see how they play and how fun they are when you are starting all the way from scratch. I'm going into this completely blind, seeing as I have never played them before and therefore have little to no idea how they work. I have played DBD for about 2 months now, so naturally I have come across these different killers as a survivor at some point, and know to some degree what they can and can't do, but how their powers actually work and their perks and add-ons I have absolutely no clue about. So what are the premises here? I'm going to play these killers like it was the first killer I've played, so to get this new player experience there are a few guidelines that I am going to follow. Number 1. For the first 3 perk slots unlocked, I am only going to use the killer's original perks. Number 2. When I do unlock the last perk slot, I will only use perks that are universal to every killer. That means any perk that I have previously unlocked from, let's say, the shrine, is not usable in this context. Number 3. I'm starting with basically 0 blood points to get the most authentic experience. That means that for the first match I do not have any add-ons at all. Number 4. I will play a total of 10 matches with every killer. How many levels I gain on the way and the perks and add-ons that I get is out of my control, and if you do the same, your experience would probably differ from mine. Number 5. I will not read up on any killer beforehand. I'm going in blind as best as I can. So this time, and as the first killer in this series, we are going with the Oni. This seems to be a pretty popular killer who a lot of people think is quite fun to play. I have met him quite a few times myself as a survivor and I think he is absolutely terrifying to meet. As you can see right here, this is the first time I've clicked on this killer and we are presented with his 3 personal perks. The first perk, Sunshine Tactics, allows you to see all the windows, spells and breakable doors within a certain range. So it's basically the same perk as Kate's Windows of Opportunity. I think this would be a pretty good perk to use if you are brand new to the game, and it can be used to your advantage if you are, let's say, chasing a survivor and you want to force them into an area where there are no windows or pallets left to drop. His second perk is called Blood Echo. When you hook a survivor, all of the injured survivors suffer from the hemorrhage and exhausted status effect for a certain duration. I guess the exhausted status effect would be a nice counter to anyone who runs perks like, let's say, Dead Hard or something, but it seems like almost no one runs that perk anyway, so it doesn't really matter. His third perk is called Nemesis. Obsession... Oblivious... let's just leave that for now. As for the killer himself, it seems his name is Yamaoka, and I guess he is some kind of demon samurai, so I just refer to him as Oshikuru, for those of you who get that reference. So this killer's power is called Oshikuru's Wrath. This is a bar that will passively fill up as you play, and it can also be filled with blood orbs that will drop from injured survivors. You will fill up the bar by quite a lot from injuring survivors as well. I think if you hit 2 different survivors with your weapon, that's enough to fill up the bar. When the bar is full, you can activate Blood Fury. Basically, this unlocks 2 new skills for this killer, Demon Dash and Demon Strike. Demon Dash allows you to run very fast and can be used to traverse the map pretty quickly. Demon Strike, on the other hand, gives you the ability to knock survivors into the dying state in 1 hit. For the first match, I decided to go with Sunshine Tactics. It was a perk that I was familiar with from playing Kate, and I also didn't quite understand what Nemesis did, so Well, into the first match we go. So, naturally what I was most excited about was trying out his power. The first match went kind of like expected, but then again I was just primarily trying out the new power and see how it worked. I got my first bar filled up and pressed that power button. And oh man, hearing that roar roaming around the entire map is so freaking satisfying. You almost just want to rise from the chair and scream while ripping off your chest hairs like... I wish I had chest hairs. Well, anyway, the movement was a bit like expected. It's a bit weird at first, especially for me who mains Legion, where the movement while Feral Frenzy is active can be described as much more fluent, but with that said, the movement while demon dashing was much better than I expected. You have pretty good control over where you are moving, but as you can see it's much more like strafing than turning corners while moving. As you can guess, I got my ass handed to me and barely saw the survivors during the entire match. I did get in a few hits with the Demon Strike though, so I'm happy. Well, with that first match we got ourselves a few blood points, some levels and some new add-ons. I didn't get enough blood points to unlock the second perk though, so I'll be going into the second game with still only one perk. For the add-ons though, when you don't really know the base value of things, the descriptions doesn't really help much, or at least doesn't really give any impression of how good they might be. So I was just trying out some of them to see if they made any difference. So, into the second game we go. For the second match we ended up at Coldwind Farms. This is a very open map which should suit only really well. I had quite a big revelation during this game, which we will come back to. It's a map where you can use your demon dash to your full advantage, in my opinion. Or just get stuck in the first haystack you see. You can call me a weirdo, but I didn't realize until now that you auto-run forward while demon dashing. I guess I was holding the forward button while dashing as a habit the entire first match, so I didn't really notice it. I don't know why, but I kind of expected that you could at least slow the speed down by pressing backwards or something, but then again, maybe I'm still traumatized from playing too much Temple Run back in the days. Or I'm just an idiot. While it was easier to master the demon dash in this map, it still takes a bit of practice to get those precise demon strikes. And at this point I was still thinking you can only demon strike while demon dashing, so you could say I still had a lot to learn. Anyway, it was only the second match, but I got my first 4k for the evening, a result I was pretty satisfied with. And I'm sorry Meg, any other day and I would have let you leave, but there is no mercy today. Sorry. And with the blood points from that match, we had enough to level up and we unlocked our second perk. I went with Blood Echo because, well, you know. So with those two perks we went into the third match and what do you know, we ended up in Coldwind Farms again. Luck must be by my side today. A few things I realized in this match was just how good the blood orbs can be for tracking survivors, especially in environments where scratch marks might be a bit hard to see or disorienting. For someone like me who gets easily confused by scratch marks or hula looping survivors, this is worth a lot. Another thing I finally realized is that you don't need to demon dash to demon strike. And I'm slowly realizing that you don't need to press the button for too long to do a demon strike as well. But I would master that a bit throughout the evening. Needless to say, Coldwind Farms, another 4k. Life is great. There is nothing stopping me now. Absolutely nothing. With 2 matches with 4 kills in a row, I was on the hype train. Life is perfect. Pure happiness.
God, please, no! 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 No!
Yeah, what can I say? Endorphins were switched out with teabagging, confidence with locker bullying, and happiness with pitch black depression. I'm sorry to everyone out there who loves this map, but I really hate it. It's a cool looking map and I love the Resident Evil games, but as I'm still fairly new to this game, I get so easily lost in here. At this point, I still have a bad habit of holding on to the Blood Fury, mostly because I'm still locked in this mindset that it's only used for demon dashing. And when I did demon dash, well, wherever there is a locker, there is a survivor ready to use it. I got outplayed, bullied, and the team did a really good job, so well deserved. Well, we got our third perk unlocked, so it was time to use Nemesis. I got a few new add-ons and such as well, but still they didn't really give me that much information if they were any good or not. Coming from RPD, I was thinking to myself, it can't get any worse than this, right? Right? Well, not really, but comparing myself to Alice who fell down a rabbit hole and found Wonderland, there was no such thing for me. On the other side of that hole, there was only poo-poo. The fifth match took me to Bedlam, a map I couldn't really get the hang of, as well as meeting a good team in my opinion. Nothing interesting to see here. I got my ass handed to me. Next. The sixth game we were heading to the grave of Glenvale. It was first on this map that I kind of got the hang of the timing with Demon Strike and how to hold the button just long enough for it to work. Other than that, I didn't find this to be such a good map for Oni as well, with lots of tight corridors and corners, even though it's a fairly small map. I have to give some kudos to this survivor and the use of Dead Hard though. Magnificent. 10 out of 10. Well, I got 3 kills, so I was quite happy. I could feel a bit of confidence coming back going into the 7th match. Finally, I unlocked my last perk slot and I decided to go with Bitter Murmur on this one, though I didn't really have that many to choose from anyway. I got a few new add-ons as well, slapped some of them on and went into the next game having 3 kills fresh in my mind. Screw my life. Next. So, for the next 2 matches I went into the Red Forest and Autohaven Wreckers. These were decent matches as well as decent maps, and I felt like I was up against fairly good survivors and groups of people. I also started to play a little nicer and was more about having fun than trying to chase another 4K. Though at this point I'm starting to get the hang of Oni to some degree, and from here on it's just about polishing the Demon Dash and Demon Strike. Not saying there isn't a lot more to think about with Oni, but for now that's what needs to be improved in my case. So, for the final match of the game we are back where it all started, at the Crorum Pren Asylum. It was a very good match though, I don't think I played very well to be honest. You really notice how hard it is to play without any good perks, especially when the team is decent and they spread out. I came across a fellow Norwegian, or I assume he was by his name, but there was something odd about him. I'm not sure if he either was a bot or just playing DBD with his feet while blindfolded, but little of what he did made any sense. But then again, I like weird people. But with that being said, it's time to wrap up this video. So, after playing 10 matches with Oni, starting all the way from scratch, I can honestly see why so many people like to play him. His power is really fun to use, and it's fun to play a killer who both have the speed and the insta knockdown ability. Playing him without any good perks though was a bit of a challenge and probably make it a lot less fun than it could be. I could absolutely see many good perks that will go well with Oni. After equipping Bitter Murmur, I could already tell a big difference with just that little bit of aura reading. It was fairly easy to knock down survivors if you get lucky and they finish a gen while you are in Blood Fury. With the speed of Demon Dash, those few seconds of aura reading is all you need. They won't even see you coming. So, how beginner friendly is Oni? I would give Oni a 7 out of 10. My argument is that his main ability is fairly easy to use and to understand, but his starting perks are not really the best in my opinion. I also find that there is a bit of decision making when you are in Blood Fury, and a missed call while demon dashing can cost you a bit of time. His ability to track blood orbs as well as using scratch marks to find survivors is also really nice for beginners. I could give him a 8 out of 10, but as the first killer out, I give him a 7. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you next time when I come back with another killer.